Hey everyone, my name is Jermaine and welcome back to the Reading Room for Kids. I'm so glad to have you here. Let's dive into another wonderful story. And today's book is called Lila Greer, Teacher of the Year. In a big windy city, in a small bungalow, lived a father, 5 children, 3 cats, and 1 crow. The baby was Lila, with a curl on her head, which cast an odd shadow and filled her with dread, as did cabbages, cardboard, bananas, and bark, and each little thing that went bump in the dark. When Lila turned 3, she had such a great thought. She twisted her wild, wiggly curl into a knot. And to the relief of all the Greers, she slept through the night for the first time in years. But the what ifs still got her. They made her heart race, put knots in her stomach, a frown on her face. What if there are monsters? What if there are bees? What if I get stuck with some clowns eating cheese? In a very small room, in a building so high, what if, it made Lila cry. Lila felt calmer in places she knew, with people she loved and who loved Lila too. Then everything changed when they moved out of town. It flipped Lila's world upside down. The what ifs took over as she started grade 2, in a new town, a new school, and a new teacher too. What if I mess up? What if it goes wrong? What if they don't like me and we don't get along? The teacher is tall, a little bit stern. "Hello," she said softly. "My name is Miss Kern. It's so good to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. Let's make this a wonderfully wonderful year." But it wasn't for Lila, who did not adjust well to the odd kids, the odd sounds, and the random odd smell. At lunchtime and recess, she felt all alone, so far, far away from her faraway home. Then one day, Miss Kern had a favor to ask. "Lila, my dear, could you help me with a task? There's so little time and there's so much to do. I can't clean the chalkboard at recess, would you?" Lila Greer nodded. There was lots to do. She helped Monday through Thursday. She helped Friday too. She stood on a chair and erased all the chalk. Miss Kern graded papers. Together they talked of things that were old and things that were new, of nothing important and everything too. For the first time in Blue River Creek, Lila felt better and ready to speak. Of her worries and what ifs, it felt very good, knowing someone was listening and they understood. Sometimes it seemed that the work would expand and a classmate or two would come lend a hand. A kid with a kitten, a kid with a curl, a zoo-loving boy, a bird-loving girl. Then one day Miss Kern said, "Thank you, my dear. You've been such a help, I can take it from here," which is fine because somehow the months have flown by and there was a playground for Lila to try. "Just one final thought," Miss Kern said in the hall. "What if some what ifs are not bad at all? When you start an adventure, who knows where it ends? What if you learn something? What if you find friends?" And so it went for young Lila Greer. Things settled down for the rest of the year. Then came 3rd grade and 8th grade and some in between. And before long, young Lila grew into a teen. Sometimes the what ifs came roaring right back. It was tough, but with help, she got back on track. Time passed as it does, and with each passing grade, old memories were forgotten and new ones were made. She worked hard and studied year after year and was finally ready to start her career. Right there in Blue River Creek, of all places, as teacher of 17 smiling young faces. She needed her knowledge, her skill, and her care. She straightened her black skirt and patted her hair. But the what ifs got her as she looked in the door. The feeling came back for so long, long before. Lila Greer froze in a bad deja vu from her earliest moments of life in grade 2. What if I mess up? What if it goes wrong? What if they don't like me and we don't get along? Of course, she was new and had so much to learn, so she tried to think back to her teacher, Miss Kern, who was something or other or a little bit tall, though what the word was, Lila could not recall. She thought of that classroom so far in the past, which looked much the same from the first bit at last. Benches, a chalkboard, some desks and whatnot, one green eraser in the very same spot. Wait, what? That's not right, Lila Greer thought. Then she remembered something she long since forgot, and after so many years, she finally asked, "How many erasers do we need for that task?" And she knew in that moment what her teacher had done. She helped her find friends in class one by one. When she'd been so alone, isolated by fear, too frozen by what ifs to let anyone near, Miss Kern brought the classroom to her, Lila Greer. It made all the difference, that lonely young girl, with her worries and what ifs, her wild wiggly curl, who was far and far away from her faraway home. But thanks to Miss Kern, she wasn't alone. Her teacher had done what all great teachers do. She built a new home right there in grade two. Lila paused as old memories flooded her mind, and she found that one word that she wanted to find. Her teacher was fiercely, furiously, unfathomably kind. And she remembered this, stepping in from the hall. What if some what ifs are not bad at all? When you start an adventure, who knows where it ends? What if you learn something? What if you find friends? She looked at her kids, and the fear left her heart. Like the teacher before her, she knew where to start. "Hello," she said softly. "I'm Miss Lila Greer. It's so good to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. Let's make this a wonderfully wonderful year." And that is the end of this story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the next one.